Hey there, fellas! At last, we are back with the final part of the Assassin anime today. But in the previous part, we saw how Crow had offered to become their guide to the Demon Lord's territory, if Akira kills Graham for him. Akira was confused about this, so he took some time to think. Then he arrived in the capital of the Beastman Nation, because the king wanted to relay his gratitude for saving his adoptive daughter and his territory from monsters. But in the middle of that, he asked Akira to do one of his jobs, which involved killing. Akira was an assassin, which made him perfect for this. And guess who the target was? Graham. But still, Akira was being held back because he had never killed someone before. So Crow gave him the final push with the information he had gathered. Commander Saron, who was a godfather figure to Akira, had died because Graham supplied his special assassin squad to King Redis. This shocked Akira deeply, and Crow tried his best to make him change his mind. Plus, Graham was also after Amelia. So obviously getting rid of Graham was the smartest choice. You know why, if not for revenge, then at least to save the one he loves that he had to get his hands dirty. So the question was how to kill him. Because Graham was always guarded by a squad that used some kind of drugs to become powerful enough to rival demons and possibly even defeat them with sheer strength. But that was enough for that day. So after resting for the day, they planned to talk again in the morning. But then Leah arrived to apologize for what her father had requested and said to them. So to make up for it, she offered to give them a tour of the town. It would be a good change of pace, so everyone agreed. The little lady had everything planned, from entertainment spots to food places where they could eat to their fill. But midway, Amelia decided to separate so she could spend some alone time with Akira. It was a couple thing, so the other two understood and left. But in reality, Amelia did this so Leah could spend time with Crow. She was head over heels for the guy, even though he was twice her age. But Amelia said that Beastman age does not show on the surface, so it is pretty common among Beastmen to marry with a big age gap. Anyway, away from there. Knight was on an investigation mission, but Laddie noticed her and joined the fray because it looked fun to her. Since Graham was the head of the guild, they decided to gather information through smaller branches first. And Laddie took charge, and with her sweet talk, she managed to get some useful details on how Graham operated his work. So while they were doing their job and Akira and Amelia were on their own date, Leah and Crow went somewhere together. He showed Leah a beautiful place where red spider lilies grow. It was brought to this world by a hero generations ago, but it is dangerously poisonous. Maybe that is why in Japanese culture it represents death and the afterlife. Taking this chance, Leah tried her luck and said, Crow should bring a girl here because it is a place where romance always goes well. But the guy said he wanted to die alone because he had only one goal, which was to take revenge on his sister's killer. It broke the little lady's heart, but someone else's heart was about to break as well. Akira made his choice and Amelia respected that. But when a nearby girl was being pushy to get what she wanted, Akira recalled the day they had to move out of their house after his father disappeared. His little sister was just like that, throwing a tantrum because she did not want to leave their home. His mother was a sickly person, so Akira understood why their father left. He had been taking care of his mother while also working, so Akira matured early to hold the family together. That is why he hesitated until now, because he did not want to return to his family as a murderer. But we also see moments where his sister and mother stayed positive, believing Akira would return to them. But who knows when that will happen? For now, they had to focus on Graham, and that was why Knight was out gathering information, though it felt more like she was babysitting Laddie. But what was surprising was that her goofy and carefree nature led them straight to the information they needed. They met an adventurer, and Laddie seduced the guy into talking about jobs that came through the guild. Apparently, most of them were related to crime, so Laddie lets him go. Then Akira sent a message updating Knight on the task, which was to gather evidence of Graham's evil deeds. But getting inside would be difficult, so they went to the guild first. Laddie walked in through the front door, and the people there tried to shoo her away. But one of them tried to force Laddie into doing something inappropriate, so she made an example to show she was strong. It turned into a peaceful infiltration for information, because Laddie examined the building and learned its structure with just a glance. Then she tossed Knight inside through a gap she found. Inside, there was a room filled with important documents, which Knight successfully delivered to Akira. It was hard to admit, but Laddie turned out to be extremely useful. Anyway, the documents they brought back were about human trafficking by race, illegal materials, and other crimes that were enough to earn the death penalty by law. But the strange part was why such important documents were left so openly. It felt fishy, as if they were intentionally placed to be stolen. So Crow shared his theory that Retis might be behind this to obtain those papers and ignite a war with the Beastman Nation. It was not public information, but Crow had heard that the king of Retis wanted to revive his dead wife, and to do that, he would have to break the taboo of this world, which required an enormous amount of sacrifices. And what better way to gather that than through war? Vice Commander Gil was also removed from his position because he had stopped a war from breaking out with the Kingdom of Yamato, which further confirmed Crow's suspicion. Akira tore up the evidence, but that was only a temporary solution. They would fabricate something again. So unless Graham was killed, the conspiracy would never end. The atmosphere became so tense that Laddie had to step in. She said she had seen some places with good food and lots of books. Amelia loved food and Akira loved reading, so where else should they go? She was right that they needed a break. So Knight went with Akira while Laddie accompanied Amelia. But while Akira was reading a book, a thief stole his bag and Akira could not move an inch, so Knight retrieved it. Akira was clearly shaken about the future, which was why Knight decided to have a heart-to-heart talk. So Akira opened up saying he was still not ready for the burden that comes after killing someone, because once you take that step, you can never go back. Knight understands that feeling very well and how it clouds the heart in darkness, but she also knew that sometimes killing one person is necessary to save others, and this was one of those times. No matter what happened, Knight decided to stay by Akira's side. And after hearing that Akira decided to first observe Graham and then decide if he deserved to die or not, Akira was deeply grateful to Knight for being there for him. And with that, Akira went to the guild to finally move forward. He asked a man about Graham, but the guy turned aggressive and attacked without even asking why they wanted to meet him. But a girl in a wheelchair stopped him. Raul did not recognize Akira at first, but she did. By now, Akira was famous as the silent assassin, and after learning that Raul did a complete turnaround, he was a fan because he had witnessed how Akira saved everyone during the monster outbreak. But sadly, he had seen him from far away, so he did not recognize him earlier. And then the main problem appeared: Graham. Graham had been after Amelia from the very beginning, and he did not hesitate to attack her, even knowing she was an elf princess. He also knew Akira and his connection to Commander Saran, so he mocked Saran's death to provoke Akira. Akira prepared to fight and concealed himself, but those soldiers had thermal vision just like Saran, which rendered Akira's concealment useless. On top of that, the soldiers wore shock-absorbing armor, so Akira's attacks and Amelia's magic were ineffective. That is why they decided to retreat, and Laddie offered them a ride through the sky. Honestly, if Laddie had not been there, it could have been the most romantic ride through the night sky, holding hands, remembering how they met, how they grew closer, and how they vowed to stay together forever. Anyway, Laddie dropped them at the hotel and left because she was not a fan of watching someone die on her watch. Akira then informed Crow about the soldiers. Crow was certain that the egocentric man would return with double the number of soldiers to capture Amelia, and that was reality. So Akira asked Knight and Amelia to go to their room and rest. It was clear Akira had made up his mind to kill Graham. At that moment, Graham was enjoying an entertainment show and ordered his men to confirm where Amelia was staying. He was just as nasty as Crow described. Then after Knight and Amelia fell asleep, Akira prepared to leave when a crystal dropped down that Saran had left behind. It contained a recording. Saran had anticipated something might happen to him, so he recorded it in advance, urging Akira not to seek revenge if he was killed and return home with clean hands. But sadly, that was impossible, because Akira had to step into this swamp not just for Amelia, but to save millions of innocent lives. Amelia also heard him leaving and came out. Akira could not look her in the eye and left. And that brought us back to where the suspense started in episode 1, where Akira eliminated the assassin and went down to kill Graham himself. He hesitated for a moment, but completed the task and returned. The guilt of staining his hands with blood was overwhelming. And on top of that, Akira felt nothing after killing Graham, which scared him because he feared becoming a mindless killer. but Amelia became his comfort, the line that kept him sane and gave him a reason to move forward. After that, the news of Graham's death reached the king the next morning, and Kyosuke also sensed something had happened to Akira with his intuition skill. Laddie, on the other hand, observed everything and was confused about which path Akira would choose once he faced the Demon Lord. And sadly, this is where the anime comes to an end. There is no clear news about when Season 2 will arrive, so all we can do is wait. That is why make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay updated, and press the hype button to support me. Till then, take care.